everybody, it's me, Valerie, the Crafty Val Girl. How are you all this beautiful evening? Today we are going to make these pretty paper poinsettia decorations, and they are, about 6 inches, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches wide. So they're fairly large decoration. They were much bigger when I started, and I had to scale it down. They're fairly easy. There's one step that's a little bit fidgety, but it's not too bad. But I think you'll enjoy. Making these. This one is plain. I didn't put glitter or anything around the edges. I just kind of left this one kind of plain. And this one I added, let's see, glitter on the edges here. But that's totally optional. You can decorate these however you want to. So, let's get going. Let's set these off to the side. Tell you what you're going to need. You're going to need a 3.5 inch circle. You're going to need a petal template. I'm going to give you the details of this a little bit. You will need one 3.5 inch circle out of cardstock. I'll put that on there. 3.5 inch cardstock. And then you will need green and red craft paper. You'll want this to be just regular paperweight thickness because you're going to have to do a little bending and twisting to curve this. You're going to need 7 green petals, and you're going to need 7 red petals. I'm just showing you 2 here because I have the others decorated up. But you'll need 7 red, and you'll need 7 green, and a 3.5 inch cardstock circle. It doesn't matter what color this is. This is going to be for the back. And you're going to need some embellishments for the center of your poinsettia. Glitter glue if you want to, and you're definitely going to need some type of crafted glue. And I'll be using our glitter glue and Fabri-Tac. And there's a little bit more of the embellishments I'm going to use. Okay, so first of all, the petal template is the most important part. Now I had to kind of figure this out, and I'm going to show it to you here. My dimensions, I don't have a template for this. You're just going to have to screenshot this and do what you can with it. At the bottom base, it's 1 1/8 inches here at the bottom base. The height is 2 3/4 inches tall. At the widest point of the petal is 1 3/4 inches. Now that widest point of the petal comes at 1.5 inches up from the very bottom. Does that make sense? I certainly hope so. So again, 1 1/4 inches at the bottom, 2 3/4 inches tall. At the widest point is 1 3/4 inch, and that widest point comes 1.5 inches from the base of the petal. You'll need 7 green, 7 red. One thing I want to point out is if you have directional paper, please keep that in mind when you're drawing out your template so you don't have one that's the words are upside down or the picture is upside down. This one has trees on it. So if you're using directional paper, just kind of keep that in mind. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm off center here. I don't do this very often, so we'll get it right here. Okay, now to make each petal, this is what we are going to try to attempt to create. Is this little petal here. This is a little bit fidgety because you don't want to bend this edge. You don't want to crease it. You want it to have a nice curve to it. So the best way I found to do that is to take a pencil or a pen and take your petal. Once you've got your petal cut out, take that flat edge and line it up with the edge of your pencil and kind of just roll it over a little bit. Kind of just curl your paper some. And then do it again on the other side. Line it up with that straight edge there and curl it in some. Okay. Then I'd like to lay it out and find somewhere right around the middle point. Just kind of mark your middle point. Oops, that pen's not working well. We'll use a red one here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but It did make a little mark there. But you're going to want to make a mark about halfway in the middle, because this is where you're going to kind of fold your corner over to, okay? We're going to kind of form a little red triangle here when we pull this in. You'll see what I mean here in a second. Okay, so we've got our paper kind of curled. Okay, I'm going to put this down, and I hope you can see okay. I'm going to kind of roll this over, okay? Kind of roll it in. Be careful, you don't want to crease that paper just yet, because the edge needs to not be creased, but the end will be creased. I'm going to put just a little dot of glue on each corner. Okay, just a little dot of glue on each corner. Then I'm going to kind of roll this in, and I'm using my left hand here to kind of hold it. Then I'm going to press that down right at my little center mark there. Press it down and hold it. See, this is still not creased, but I'm kind of bending and folding and creasing this bottom part. And the same with this other side. I'm going to kind of use this hand to kind of roll this over. And I'm going to use this hand to kind of guide where I got to put that right in the middle. And then I'm going to press that down. Now, these petals are not going to be perfect, okay? But a poinsettia is not perfect. That's not what we want to achieve. We want to make it look like a poinsettia. Poinsettia, poinsettia, how do you say it? How do you guys say it? Poinsettia. Okay, now I'm going to do one more of these. Okay, again, we're going to take our pen. We're going to put it right on the straight edge there, and we're going to kind of curl it over. Just kind of roll it up. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Line it up with that edge. And roll it in. And take my pen. I'm going to find the center, draw me a line there. That's not going to show. Okay, this ink mark is not going to show in your project. And then put a little glue on the corner of each corner. Okay. Let me kind of take my left hand and kind of help roll this over a little bit. Like I said, it's kind of fidgety. I want to come up about my center. I don't know where that point ends up. It's a little less than 1/4 of an inch, I would say. That's not really that important so long as you wind up with that little triangle shape there. Okay, that side's down. And I like to use a glue that's going to dry on this pretty quickly. So that's why I use my art glitter glue. If you use a glue that stays too wet too long, this is going to pull up and come loose without you having to sit here and hold it for very long. Okay. What kind of decorations are you guys making for Christmas? I'd love to see some of your Christmas decorations. If you have a picture link to some of your Christmas decor, I'd love to see it in the comments below. Okay, so see, there's another petal. Now, totally optional. Whoops. I'm going to go ahead and do this next step. You see how this is kind of glittery around the edges? I'm going to go ahead and do that just because I've got it started with these other petals here. Okay, I've got 5 of them done, and I'm just going to do these 2. I'm just going to glue right along this edge here. Only what's going to be seen. No sense to go all the way around. Now you can decorate these however you want to, glitter them up however you want to, or not. This is totally optional. I'm just using Craft Smart glitter glue. Real inexpensive. Okay, that one is done. Kind of give that a second to dry. By luck, I'm going to get this all over the place when I go to glue it together, but that's okay. I suggest letting these dry before you put it together, but this is not going to be dry when I put it together. Okay. All right, so now we have our 7 petals and our 7 leaves. We're going to call these leaves now rather than petals, although it is the petal shape. I'm going to scooch this back. Now we're going to take our 3.5 inch circle. We're going to take our green petals and we're going to place them about 1 inch in on your circle. And you're going to have to kind of play with this just a little bit to kind of get these evenly distributed, because there are 7. This odd number, it's a little bit harder to kind of space them on here, but you can kind of get them spaced out. And if they're not perfect, that's okay. The back circle is probably going to show a little bit on this part, but that's okay because it's not going to show. You can see right here, that's not going to show in our all around project when we're finished. Just kind of move them around till they seem kind of even to you. I kind of marked these, but I don't know how well that's going to help me out. Okay. So you can see some here. Not over here. Let's scooch these around just a little bit. Okay. And once you've got them where you think they're evenly spaced, now you can glue them down. And all I do is I kind of hold it in place. And I stick my glue nozzle up underneath there just to get them kind of started. And then I'll go back and... That didn't glue at all, did it? And then I can go back and glue them in a little bit more secure once I kind of have them in place. Now this part, if you want to use a glue that's going to give you a little more leeway to move these around and jiggle these around a little bit to your liking, you can do that. I like using a glue that kind of sets pretty quick. I don't like giving myself the option of having to move them around too much. Okay, now that I've got them in place, I'm going to go and kind of glue them, secure them just a little bit better up underneath. Okay, so this is our base here. Now, if you want to put a hanger on it, this is where you would do that. I'm not going to put a hanger on mine because I like to set mine in the tree. But all you would do is just take a piece of string 4 to 6 inches long, okay, and glue it down onto your section right here. Okay, I'm not going to do that with mine because I'm going to set mine into the tree boughs. So, but that's where you want to do that. Okay, now to affix our petals, we're going to set these in a little bit further. Okay, because we want our leaves to kind of stick out just beyond. So we're going to move our petals in about 1/2 inch. Okay, and we're going to set our petals just in between each leaf. I'm going to kind of glue this whole little triangular section here. Again, about 1/2 inch in. You don't want to use cardstock for these petals just because this trying to get it all bent here with a real thick cardstock, it was pretty fidgety. I tried it and I kept tearing the pieces. Okay. Oop, this one was wet. Grabbed it and it was wet. That's okay. I'll go back later and fix that glitter. Grabbed right a hold of it like I knew I would. I think this is the other wet one. We'll do them next to each other. Okay. The rest of these are dry. I'm going to be all glittery when we're through. Okay. Make sure it's about halfway in between the green leaves there. At 1/2 inch in, about halfway between the leaves. Now these petals, they may overlap here a little bit. They may not. And that's okay. It does not have to be absolutely positively perfect. So that center is going to be covered. Okay. Okay. All right. So there is our poinsettia for the most part. Oh, stuck my finger in the glitter again. Oh, you all understand, don't you? I know you do. Okay. Now for the center, I've chosen just some random fibers, some fun fibers. You can fill this with beads. You can put whatever you want to in here. You can put cotton in the center, make it look like snow. But I'm just going to take this and just wind it up. Okay, tuck in those ends. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. Get the top off of it. And I'm going to put a pretty generous amount of glue here because there's several layers of this fibers and yarn pieces and stuff here. So I'm going to put a pretty good dollop in the middle there. Be sure my ends are kind of tucked. Just kind of, any little loose pieces that want to come around there, just kind of stick them down in there somewhere. Okay. And then for my center embellishment, I have a 1-inch button. You can use buttons. You can, if you don't have any buttons, you can use punched circles. You can use large, like 1/2 inch wooden beads in here. Use whatever you want to. So use your imagination. Get all Christmas creative. Oh, come on, Fabri-Tac. Let's go. And I'm just going to glue this down too. Again, I'm going to use a pretty generous amount of Fabri-Tac here because of the fibers in here. I want them all to stick pretty good. I'm going to give that a good press. Oh, good. Some glue is going to come oozing up through the thing there, and I'll just spread that around on top because I'm going to put a little silver bow in the center. And there's our poinsettia. Something else I'm going to do too, again, if I can do this without getting the wet glue on me. To curve these leaves, I'm just going to kind of round it with my fingernail. And that'll kind of curl your leaf up. Kind of like curling the curly ribbon. You can kind of do that with paper. You can also, you know, wrap this around your ink pen like we did the petals. All right. There you go. Oops, upside down. I really like this one because all the little silver string kind of shows up nice in this one. Oh, yay, I like this one. There you go. All right. If you like to swap and you like to do all kinds of paper crafts, come and join us at the Crafty Girls Swap Hangout and do some swapping with us. Thanks, Jennifer, for the idea. I appreciate you very much, and I hope you like the project. Give it a try, y'all. God bless. Have a great evening. See you soon.